دلوقتي هنروح لتغطية خاصة وحصرية من بين اللقاءات اللي أجريناها في واشنطن مع الزميل رامي رضوان. أجرى حوار مع سيدة في أقدم خيمة اعتصام أمام البيت الأبيض. تعالوا نروح نشوفه ونرجع مرة تانية.
أثناء تواجدنا في واشنطن وتحديدا أمام البيت الأبيض لفت انتباهنا الحقيقة اللي حضراتكم شايفينه ده، والعنوان الرئيسي هو دعم حقوق الإنسان والمحاربة من أجل حقوق الإنسان. مارجريت موجودة هنا، مارجريت، وهي بتتكلم في هذا الملف بطريقتها الخاصة. لو حضراتكم شفتوا هنا، يعني ده عندنا نموذج مصغر لمعرض. هتلاقوا انه الموضوع مش بيتكلم على حقوق الانسان دلوقتي بس، انما من ايام هيروشيما وناجازاكي وتشيرنوبل وغيرهم الحقيقه من القضايا والفعاليات او الحروب، خلينا نقول، اللي فيها دائما كان بيتكبد الانسان خسائر فادحه. خلونا نعرف اسباب تواجد مارجريت هنا وايه الكوز بتاعتها تحديدا. Hey Margaret, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
First, let me. I wish you introduce. Why are you here in front of the White House?
This vigil was established in 1981 as a peace vigil against nuclear weapons. It had a permit to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They passed regulations, no more 24-hour permits, but the courts upheld their permit and they're still here. The original occupiers of the vigil had been arrested and beaten, but the courts prevailed, and 36 years later there's been somebody here day and night.
So now you have the permit for 24 hours, 7 days a week, right?
That's right.
Okay. I know that you have been being part of this since 2011, as you told me,
Yes.
right? But I also know that there was a lady that was here for 36 years.
Yes.
Yeah?
Most of the 36 years, yes.
Yeah.
Her name's Concepcion Pichoto. She was from Spain, and she came to D.C. She had worked for the embassy, and she just hooked up with this, and she never stopped warning against the nuclear weapons. And
But she had to stop last year.
last year, yeah. Her body stopped, but her spirit never stopped.
Yeah, I can tell.
And yes, and all the school children she came and introduced, and they come back with their kids and grandkids, you know, to.
Okay, and yeah, total respect, definitely. Why are you here? What are you trying to tell everyone with your presence here and with the photos we are seeing from Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Chernobyl? You're talking, I see another here where you've written current human rights conflict zones, and you're writing the United States, Palestine, Afghanistan, Syria, Congo, Ethiopia, Sudan, Iraq, almost a lot of countries actually worldwide. What are you trying to say with your presence?
I'm part of the planetary peace movement, and it's beyond my wildest dreams to be able to come here and practice my meditations. And but we still have to be vigilant against the nuclear. They're talking about them like they're trading playing cards, and but now it's a free speech zone. And when the women were here, they left theirs. The water protectors were here. They left their water as life sign. And of course, we defend the Palestinians. And
Just a second, let me get closer.
okay. This is BDS,
yeah.
boycott, divest, and sanctions against Israel for the occupation of Palestine. We're educating people about what's happening there. And
Can you tell us what are you trying to tell from this map?
this used to be the agreed upon
1946.
Palestinian in the dark and Israel in the white. And then Israel's been occupying until it's been totally flipped.
Yeah.
And we
It's totally against the agreement.
yeah, and yeah. So yeah, and it's happening. There's a lot of support in the U.S. for Israel. It's kind of hard to comprehend, but BDS is working worldwide, and it'll be over. And the right to return the Palestinians to their land.
Let me ask you a question, and I hope you don't get it wrong. Being here for 36 years, or now maybe more than 36 years, do you feel that this presence and those photos and those signs have had a good impact, have had a good effect? They made at least people know more what they didn't know about?
excellent effect. It's the school children. Every 8th grader in the United States takes a trip to Washington, D.C., and most of their guides send them over here to ask their questions. And we just, affirm their nature, that social and monetary equanimity is a no-brainer for them. And they agree. But people don't always give them that authority. The United States is the only nation that hasn't signed on to the UN Convention for the Rights of the Child. And it's these rogue things that they won't stop the kids from getting their rights. And she was a really great teacher. She taught so many kids. Yes.
When would be the day that you decide, okay, now we sent our message and we saw the good effect that we are looking forward to, or we wanted or dreamed of, and now we can leave?
Well, a woman yesterday, she said, you're blocking the best view of the White House from the tulips. And I thought about it last night, and I said, well, as soon as they get rid of nuclear weapons, then we don't need to be here. But I'd like to see the children who lived in the White House and looked out here and saw this year after year to build something permanent. And maybe like a gravestone for this is what I'm thinking last night. A gravestone for nuclear weapons, and we have the day. We know the day they were born, and then we can have a day they die, and it'll be here.
Do you think the day that those weapons would die is close, or maybe can happen even?
It can happen. Yeah, and time's almost irrelevant. It could. I say. Gratefully, everything changes. Nothing's set in stone, and miracles are not contrary to nature. We're all miracles. It could happen in a minute. We're just ready when it does.
What do you think of Egyptian people?
I don't have an opinion, personally. Egypt has that history of art, and art is the highest science, and they've set it in super stone. And it's like almost magic what they've done. And they use the higher powers to build that, and I trust it'll always be there. I haven't been to Egypt, but I would like to go when the door opens.
We'd love to have you.
Yes, thank you.
My final question is, what have you been ever working on a plan so that this movement is not only here in front of the White House, and then you have a cooperation with other people from all around the world?
Well, the occupiers, they stopped standing out in the cold and went to work. And there's a series called the OccuCards, and they're working on Citibank, they're working on the post office, they're working on Alex, they're working on all kinds of domestic issues. So even though you don't see them on the streets, there are armies making a difference, investigating and proving, and they're in the field.